Good evening. Special town meeting for the town of Dudley on October 16, 2023 is now called to order at 7:02 p.m. We've exceeded our quorum requirements. As of 7 o'clock, we had a total quorum of 79, exceeding our requirement of 51. Please stand to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to take a brief moment of silence to reflect on the past year, the challenges that we as a community have overcome and tackled together, as well as recognize some of the serious political and humanitarian difficulties that are facing the world at this time. Some of us have been impacted personally, with friends or loved ones overseas who are going through unimaginable situations now, and others we're trying to maneuver through even just news reports. If we can take a moment and reflect on those situations as well as anything that's personal to us and our community. Thank you. This evening, we've got a 10-article warrant, which we will move through pretty quickly, but I'd like to call up Mrs. Smith to certify delivery of the warrant, and then go ahead and certify the return. We'll get rid of that procedural mumbo and get down to business. Thanks, Ms. Smith.
To either of the constables of the town of Dudley in said county, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Dudley qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet in the Connie Vecino Galley Auditorium at Shepherd Hill Regional High School, 68 Dudley Oxford Road in said Dudley on Monday, October 16, 2023 at 7 p.m. then and there to take action on the following articles.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Can you also certify the return of the warrant?
We are hereby directed to serve this warrant by posting attested copies thereof at the Dudley Municipal Center and on the Town of Dudley website, and by posting notice of availability of the warrant on one cable access channel. Warrant to be posted at least 14 days before holding of said meeting. Hereof fail not and make due return of this warrant with your doing thereon to the town clerk at the time of holding of said meeting. Giving under our hands this 28th day in September in the year 2023. Carrie Siganevich, Chairman, John Lassie, Vice Chairman, Mark Landry, Clerk, Stephen Sullivan, and Jason Johnson. I have notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of Dudley by posting up attested copies of the same at the Dudley Municipal Center on the 28th of September 2023. I also observed and posted on the town's website and notice of availability on the Dudley Cable Access Channel on the 28th of September 2023, thereby making my return to the Dudley Town Clerk on the 28th of September 2023, signed Mark A. Landry, Constable.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all the members of the community who are in attendance this evening. We have a task ahead of us, and that task is to participate in the great democratic tradition that we undertake to be representative of the views and perspectives of our community. While we aren't a representative town meeting, the views of all registered voters are important, and it's very important for us to attend these types of activities. So thank you, those who are able to take the time and join us tonight. Prior to beginning and going through our tutorial with our clickers, just a couple of procedural reminders. Number one, only residents of the town are permitted to speak this evening, although we do have a couple of exceptions that I always grant. I always grant members of town departments who are employed by the municipality of Dudley to speak on behalf of any related business in the articles. And we also have town counsel Michelle Randazzo, who's seated down front, who we may consult or ask to speak on matters of the law. If there are any individuals that are looking to be represented by any petitioners of the article who are not residents of the town, I should have had you check in outside, and you should have some identifying information, and you should be seated down here in the very front so we can close eye on you. Thank you for getting the humor. No hats or hoods are permitted in the auditorium. Any active duty military, police, or fire are welcome to remain in full uniform with hats. We do request that all members of the town meeting be seated throughout the duration of the meeting, with the exception of speaking at the podium or the microphone, with the exception of our active duty fire and police. In order to speak tonight, to be recognized, please just raise your hand. I'll call you out by shirt color or by name if you happen to be Mr. Breyer, and we'll ask you to approach the mic. Once you approach the mic, be sure that you let yourself be identified by a full name and street address to enter that into the record. Questions that you have may be asked through the chair. That's me. Those of you who don't know me, by the way, I'm Chris Starcheski. I'm the town moderator. Thanks so much for your support in the June election. This is the third go-around for me up here. If anybody's interested in learning more about what it takes to be a moderator, I will gladly sign your paperwork. What I'm looking to do when you have questions, though, please direct them to me and not a previous speaker. And if you do direct them towards the previous speaker, please acknowledge them as the previous speaker. We try not to take anything personally here, as this is a matter of procedure, and we don't want to get into any back and forth between questioners or citizens in the audience. Please maintain appropriate decorum. The floor is not a back and forth arena. We vote with our clickers, so please maintain appropriate decorum and respect to others. No jeers, cheers, or boos. And I will do my best to adhere to Robert's Rules of Order and the other town bylaws that govern town meeting. If I make a mistake, please be kind. I will make a correction as I go. Although we fared the July 24th, 2023 town meeting relatively unscathed. And if we can handle that, we should be good to go tonight. So it's clicker tutorial time. As you know, you get our little clickers with a whole lot of buttons. There are two buttons on your clicker that are most important. The one labeled 1/A and the one labeled 2/B. To vote yes on an article tonight, or on a motion for an article tonight, a yes vote is button number 1/A. A no vote is buttons 2/B. If you push the wrong button, it's okay. In the lower right-hand side of the screen, there will be a counter down timer, and you have until that timer has expired to enter your final voting choice. So if you hit one by mistake, no need to jump up and scream. Just go ahead and calmly hit number 2, and that will enter you. You should see a green light up when your vote goes in. Right now, if you're clicking it frantically, you will notice that there is a red light on the right and a no voting sign on the small display. That's because we don't have any open voting at this time. In a moment, we will go ahead and make sure that you get an opportunity to practice with the clicker with a very, very challenging question this evening. Please note that these need to be returned at the end of tonight. When you're exiting the auditorium, please leave through the door that you checked in at to guarantee that we get these clickers back. They are of no use to you, but they are of significant expense and effort by Mrs. Smith. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and do our practice. Our test question tonight, current events, is today, Monday, October 16th of 2023. If you'll notice on the bottom right, you'll see the timer of 15 seconds. The test question is today, Monday, October 16th, 2023. 1A for yes, 2B for no. This time you should have noticed the flashing green button when you made your choice. And 6% of us do not know what date it is. That's okay, because there's only pretty much one person who got that one wrong. We're doing well. So, without further ado, I think we're ready to roll. Are there any questions about the use of the clickers? All right. So without further ado, Article 1, the Board of Selectmen, to hear recommendations from committee, to hear and act on the recommendations of the Board of Selectmen and the Finance, Appropriation, and Advisory Committee, or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Mayotte.
The FAA recommends that we approve Article 1 as printed in the warrant, and I so move.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion on Article 1. Seeing none, we'll move Article 1 to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. If you're clicking and it does not respond and it flashes red, just be patient, hit the button one more time. There's a clear majority for Article 1. Article 2, Town Administrator, FY 2024 amended budget. To see if the town will vote to determine the sums of money the town will raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds to defray the charges and expenses of the town and provide for a reserve fund or funds, determining the compensation for elected offices and including debt and interest for the ensuing fiscal year beginning on July 1, 2023, or take any other action relative thereto. The amended FY24 budget incorporating results of August 17, 2023 override is printed through unanimous consent. I would like to dispense and avoid the reading of all of these lines. Seeing that there's nobody opposed, Mr. Mayor.
The FAA recommends that the town approve Article 2 as printed in the warrant, including the sources and uses of funds included in the warrant under the column labeled October 16th, 2023, adjusted final fiscal year 2024 budget as recommended by the FAA, totaling $26,707,255 to defray the charges and expenses of the town, provide for a reserve of fund, and to determine the compensation for elected officers for the fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2023, including payment of debt and interest, and further, to replace the appropriations made under Article 2 of the July 24th, 2023 special town meeting and Article 3 of the May 22nd, 2023 annual town meeting with the revised budget contained in this Article 2. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there discussion? Mr. Mayor?
Just want to let everybody know, contained in the budget is the COLA raises for both the town clerk and the treasurer collector.
Thank you. Any additional discussion on Article 2? Seeing none, we'll move. Oh, yes, we got one at the wire. You can come on up to the mic.
Margaret Kennedy, 33 Lawrence Road. I just have one question in regards to this budget. I don't see anything in here regarding the senior center. Where does that fall under?
Mr. Rubin?
The senior center is completely grant funded this year, and any additional costs of materials would come out of operational costs for the town hall.
Thank you. Seeing no additional questions, we'll move Article 2 to a vote. Motion for Article 2, a yes vote is a 1, and a no vote is a 2. That's a clear majority for Article 2. Article 3, unpaid bills of a prior year. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds the sum of $6,073.26 to pay unpaid bills of a prior fiscal year or take any other action relative thereto. Bill for Webco of $270, Boston Mutual Life Group billing $1,106.50, and KP Law $4,696.76. Mr. Mayor.
The FAA recommends that you approve Article 3 as printed in the warrant with the source of funding being free cash. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion for Article 3. Yes, sir.
Jerry Frank, Causeway Road, woo. I just, quick question. At the last town meeting, we had an unpaid bill that got passed over for a I forget what it was for, office supplies? And is that being paid somewhere, or why is it not included in here?
Mr. Ruda?
Those unpaid bills have been covered. The only remaining unpaid bills are listed on Article 3.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments on Article 3? Seeing none, we'll move this to a vote. As a note, this does require a 9/10 vote, so 90%. That's a clear 90%. Thank you. Article 4, Water Sewer Commissioners, unpaid bills of a prior year, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from available funds the sum of $8,600 to pay unpaid bills of a prior fiscal year, or take any other action relative thereto. The bill is for Northeast Geoscience Incorporated, $8,600. Mr. Mayotte.
The FAA recommends that we approve Article 4 as printed in the warrant, with the source of funding being water retained earnings. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion, Article 4. Seeing none, we'll move Article 4 to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. This again is a 9/10 vote. That passes with a clear 90. Article 5, Agricultural Commission, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, borrow, or transfer from any available funds the sum of $1,500 for fundraising activities and events, or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Mayotte.
The FAA recommends that we approve Article 5 as printed in the warrant, with the source of funding being free cash, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion on Article 5. Seeing none, we'll move Article 5 to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. Article 5 has passed. Article 6, Board of Selectmen, to see if the town will vote pursuant to the provisions of General Law, Chapter 40, Sections 5B, to create a new special purpose stabilization fund to be known as the Opioid Settlement Stabilization Fund, which may be expanded for all of the purposes allowed by law, including those outlined in applicable opioid litigation settlement documents, a document prepared by the Substance Addiction Bureau of the Commonwealth's Office of Health and Human Services Department, which may be found at the URL listed in the warrant, entitled Abatement Strategies, and consistent with any state guidelines or regulations further clarifying allowable uses of opioid litigation settlement funds, and further to adopt the last paragraph of said Section 5B and dedicate to such fund without further appropriation 100% of the opioid litigation settlement funds received by the town, and further to transfer from available funds a sum of money equal to that received or to be received by the town from opioid litigation settlements resulting from the town's participation in the National Opioid Multi-District Litigation into said opioid settlement stabilization fund, and further to transfer from account listed Med Project account the sum of $1,376.91 and transfer from free cash the sum of $6,555.30 to the opioid settlement stabilization fund, or take any other action relative thereto. After that one, your turn, Mr. Mayotte.
The FAA recommends that we approve Article 6 as printed in the warrant, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there discussion on Article 6? Yes, Mr. Breyer. Oh, sorry, Mr. Mayotte, you're up first, and then Mr. Breyer. Didn't see your hand.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I was just wondering if I can get clarification from the town accountant that that account number is correct.
0210-000-5766. The one thing I didn't read.
That's not. You have the correct number.
Yes, if we could have that. Yeah, just for clarification, the account number listed, the one number in this entire article that I did not read, should have been 0210-210-5580-2114. Given that it's from that same kind of account pool, I'm going to chuck it up as a Scrivener's error when it was transferred, unless there's anybody opposed to that. All right, let's move along. Mr. Breyer.
John Breyer, Foxfield Road. It's more of a question to try to understand what the fund is going to be used for and who's going to spend the money. I mean, the state, for instance, got hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's just kind of being spent, and none of that money is going actually to the victims or their families of the whole opioid epidemic. And I know we're just kind of talking small amounts, but is it going for like Narcan to the police department? I mean, is it the Board of Health who's going to request funding out of it for? I'd like it to be dedicated to the opioid problem and not used for other expenses. So just some clarification of how it's going to work and how who's going to spend it.
Great, thank you, Mr. DeGroot.
To answer the previous speaker's questions, Mr. Moderator, we internally had a discussion about basically the same thing that the previous speaker brought up, and there are allowable expenses and expenses that are not allowed, purposes that are not allowed. So if you look into Article 6, the purposes allowed by law, including, we specifically entered this into the article, including those outlined in applicable opioid litigation settlement documents. To answer the question quickly, it will be for Narcan, it will be for opioid cessation programs through the health agent. It's very strict as to what we can apply those specific funds to, and we're just going to, for the sake of giving us the flexibility, we've made it anything that's lawfully allowed through these settlement funds. It's not going to be a free-for-all. And we can use these funds like we can use any other stabilization account. 2/3 majority of this body appropriates into the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Ruda. Seeing no additional questions, comments, we'll move Article 6 to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. This is a 2/3 requirement article. Article 6 has passed. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to deposit a sum of money from free cash into the stabilization account and a sum of money into the capital improvement stabilization account, or take any other action relative thereto. Mr. Mayhock.
The FAA recommends that the town transfer the sum of $406,217.95 from free cash into the stabilization account, and the sum of $799,458.92 from free cash into the capital improvement stabilization account. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion for Article 7. Are you standing to approach the mic, or are you making an exit? Just check. Okay, thank you. Seeing no discussion in Article 7, I'd like to move that to a vote at this time. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. Article 7 has passed. Article 8, to see if the town will transfer $845.74 from account number, I'm going to read them, 0360-900-5780-3603, sewer F450 truck, R26, October 17, and transfer $1,692.94 from account number 0360-900-5780-3606, sewer video camera Art 31, October of 18, to sewer retained earnings account number 0060-000-359-00001. Mr. Mayor.
The FAA recommends that you approve Article 8 as written in the warrant, and I so move.
Motion's been made and seconded. Article 8 for discussion. Seeing none, we'll move Article 8 forward to a vote. All in favor, A. All opposed, B. Article 8 is passed. Article 9, to see if the town will transfer $160,000 from sewer retained earnings account 0060-000-359-0001 to the sewer operating expense account number 0060-440-5700-0000 for the purpose of paying Webster Sewer Department for the Webster True Up. Mr. Mayor.
The FAA recommends that you approve Article 9 with the following change. We would like to change the amount of $160,000 to $80,000, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion on Article 9. Seeing none, we'll move Article 9 to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. Article 9 has passed. Article 10, to see if the town will transfer $250,000 from retained earnings account number 0060-000-359-00001 to sewer engineering account number 0060-440-5702-0000 for the purpose of design and bidding services for Potash Brook Interceptor. Mr. Mayon.
The FAA recommends that you approve Article 10 as written in the warrant, and I so move.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Discussion for Article 10. Is that a hand at the back corner? Nope. Okay, moving Article 10 forward to a vote. All in favor, 1. All opposed, 2. Article 10 is passed. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn at 28 minutes.
Mr. Moderator, motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion's been made and seconded. This is non-debatable. Have a great night.